Northerners ti bínú tán báyìí o, wọ́n ti bínú mọ́ Tinubu lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé a máa tún kálẹ̀ o, káàbọ̀ sí orí ìkànnì wa tí à ń pè ní Koikimedia Live, níbi tí a tuntun wọnú ètò talẹ́ yìí láti tún gbìyànjú láti bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí campaign wa fún Yorùbá Nation tá gbé dání, tí ó dẹ̀ ń tẹ̀síwájú, ó dẹ̀ máa tẹ̀síwájú títí tá máa fi dé ibi tá à ń lọ ni, torí pé kí ni òun nìkan ni solution sí gbogbo wàhálà tí à ń face nínú Nàìjíríà. So kò dẹ̀ sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ kankan ju pé kí a túbọ̀ máa gbìyànjú láti sọ̀rọ̀ lórí bí a ṣe fẹ́ kúrò, àti àwọn northerners tí wọ́n ní tí ìjọba Tinubu bá ṣe tán kò ní ever sí Yorùbá kankan tó máa di presidency. Ara ń tàdé ń sọ fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ní ẹni gbogbo gbà pé bí Tinubu bá parí ìjọba ẹ̀, ṣé ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká tún lọ wà pẹ̀lú àwọn north tí wọ́n ní rẹ́dì láti gbé power sílẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn náà ti ń sọ fún wa báyìí. Ìdí tí a ṣe ń wọ́n ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ṣì ń wà adamant that we should keep one Nigeria, because the north has spoken that they will never allow the Yoruba people to become the president again in Nigeria. I'll be playing the video in a minute, but I welcome us once again to our late night Sunday broadcast. It is exactly 10:20 p.m., not a.m., 10:20 p.m. local time in London, United Kingdom, where I am making this live transmission. I welcome you and I say good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome to you, Babami Adeni Adebayo, and those of you that have joined us on Twitter, and many of you that will be watching, and those of you that will probably watch it later. The broadcast will be in English and Yoruba for the benefit of our audience that are not Yoruba speaking. So bear with us. Adekunle Idris, good evening and welcome. And as we say, Happy New Year in advance to every sons and daughters of Yoruba, home and in the diaspora. I say good evening and welcome. The Yoruba campaign continue as we are winding down 2024. There's a lot to reflect and there's still a lot to digest in 2024. We still have few more days before the end of 2024, and we must continue to make our quest, which is an inalienable right. Anybody can tell you anything, but our right to self-determination will be respected by the presidency and by the government that is currently in power. But the most important thing is the North has spoken. Babami Waris Jinodu, Medium Scorn 89, good evening. And I welcome you all. Please share the program and invite others to do so. In the new year, like I said, we will not be streaming to Koikimedia Live. So please make sure you follow the backup channel of Koikimedia WD76. That is the only place that we will be streaming live, if we are going live. But after the live, we will reproduce the video and send it into the Koikimedia, but it will not be live. But right now, all other platforms will remain live, but the Koikimedia will not be live. Moki Babami Fatai, Moki Bubua, Moki, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination, Professor Adebanji Akitoye, and we are praying for the family after the death of the wife, Mrs. Olubusola Julia Akitoye. She died on Christmas Day, the 25th of December this year at the age of 88. So let us continue to remember this family, at this very difficult time, and let us also respect their privacy. So what are we going to be discussing tonight? Two things that we will be focusing on. What are those two things? The first thing, tí mo sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa ní ọ̀sán yìí, mo wá gba call kan padà. It is important that those of you on Koikimedia get used to the WD76. Àwọn kan mọ platform here. If you are not familiar with it, try to familiarize yourself so that about go live, you will get the notification and you will be aware that we are live. Muki Baba mi waris Jinodu. Any last, say, may the soul rest in peace. We also say 13 people died in Ondo State yesterday in a motor accident. We pray for the soul. About 179 people died in a plane crash in South Korea yesterday. May their soul rest in peace. And many other deaths that is happening. There was a few deaths that happened on a motor accident in Asaba as well. So we continue to pray for all the Nigerians that have badly been affected because of the bad government that we've had for a very long time. And we hope that many Nigerians will start to agree with us that this is not about Igbo versus Yoruba, Yoruba versus Hausa, and we also need to start talking about the Middle Belt. But before we go further, let me quickly put this audio in the known. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ń gbọ́ broadcast wa tí a tún ṣe ní alẹ́ ní aago mẹ́wàá àbọ̀ èyí ní 29. Èyí tá a ṣe láàárọ̀ a sọ fún gbogbo wa pé ká lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ fún ọdún 2025. Bàbá mi kan wá pè mí, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn torí wọ́n ní ọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n náà la máa fi ṣọgbọ́n, èèyàn kan ọ̀dẹ̀ gbọ́n tán. Wọ́n wá ní bàbá wa Koiki àwọn gbọ́ fídíò yín àti àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ nípa káwọn èèyàn lọ máa ṣe bánà sílẹ̀ kọ́dẹ̀ máa fi oríṣiríṣi àwòrán láti fi ṣe bánà yẹn. Wọ́n wá ní ìjà ti gbàgbé pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní Fúlàní ti pa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo àwọn picture bó ṣe pààyàn tó gé orí èèyàn tó ṣáyàn ládàá, gbogbo àwọn images yẹn náà wọ́n ní ká include mọ́ àwọn banners tí a máa ṣe. So mo wá ń fi àsìkò yìí rọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé gbogbo banner tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe náà ká fi kún pé nínú gúrùpù kọ̀ọ̀kan at least banner 5 níbi tí Fúlàní ti ṣe jàǹbá tó pa àwọn èèyàn, kódà àwọn ọba tí wọ́n pa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ká lo picture wọn nínú banner nígbà tá a bá ń ṣe banner. So gbogbo yìí ti ní idea oríṣiríṣi àwọn pictures bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ní ẹ wà lórí internet àbí kẹ́ lọ sórí koikimedia.com, aláwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan níbẹ̀. Gbogbo bí tí ẹ bá ti rí images àwòrán ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀ táwọn Fúlàní fi pa wá nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó fi ṣe jàǹbá fáwọn èèyàn wa, gbogbo ìtọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ ní Ọ̀wọ̀ ní Ondo State àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ jẹ́ ká include ẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn banners tá a máa produce, ká wá kọ síbẹ̀ pé killed by Fulanis, ká kọ ní English ká kọ ní Yorùbá. Ẹni tí kò bá yé ẹ lè kàn sí wa ká tún ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo wa. So ìyẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Now let's come back onto the broadcast once again. If you're new, you've never come across this platform, and you're wondering what is it all about, what we discuss here is got to do with our quest, our right to self-determination under the international law. Whatever we are doing is not terrorism. We are not secessionists. We are not coup plotters like Buhari and the rest of them. They were hijacking the government after the independence. Moki Iyawa Ewatomi, Moki Dizima 123, Moki Adamalami Lekon, Daniel Adeyemi Moki, Tokyo 778, good evening, and the many of you that have joined as well. Please continue to share and invite others to join as well. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ti ṣe ń sọ lọ, the northern part of Nigeria, wọ́n ti bínú tán báyìí, wọ́n ní àwọn ò ní fún Yorùbá láyè kó di president again. The question is, who cares who becomes their president after the government and the Yoruba people have left Nigeria? Who cares? I can also confirm Koikimedia, bad news, no man go all the time. I can confirm confirm, 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 breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news coming from the United States of America as we speak right now. The death has been announced, the death of who? One of the prominent people that we can call, part of the government of United States of America. This individual is a well-known around the world. He was one time a president, but it has now been confirmed that he died at the age of over 100 years. This is the breaking news coming from the Koikimedia team, and I can tell us officially that Jimmy Carter have died according to the news that is coming from the United States of America. He was age 100 years old. He never died of Fulani attack. He never died of terrorism. And many Yoruba people have died of such death. So this is coming from the United States. Who is Jimmy Carter? He's a Nobel Prize winner. He also served as the governor of Georgia. And he was the 39th president of the United States of America. He was a former president according to 9 box games. So let me also wish and say to all the Americans, may the soul of Jimmy Carter rest in peace. Carter, who was the longest living former American president, died at his home in Plain in Georgia on Sunday today on the 29th, according to his son, according to the report we are getting. He served as the president for one term alone between 1977 and 1981, but he's just as well known as his humanitarian, and that is the most important part, humanitarian. How many Yoruba politicians are doing humanitarian work? What OLAYOMI Hamzat and Queen Naomi was doing was called humanitarian work, until we saw how everything has now been focused on them rather than the bad government. Let me remove my beautiful. This is the one I wear in the house. Waris Jinadu is also confirming that breaking news: Jimmy Carter have died. So let's remember him in our prayer. But right now, let me put my flag, because every time Koikimedia is on, you must understand that Koikimedia is a Yoruba nationalist. This is still our temporary flag. We can decide in the future to change it, to make it whatever we want to make it. But for now, you can't see it properly, but at least, some of you can see it properly. Please, while some of you, okay, this one was okay. So let me put this one like that, because I want you to catch the glimpse of the Yoruba flag. It's not the official one that we might use, but it's the temporary one for now. And I believe there's nothing wrong with it until we get to our country. When we have officially become an independent country, we can decide what and how and what name or what flag, what color. All those things will be decided by the government of the day as at the time. Aziz mo gburo yin brother mi, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Àlàáfíà ló wà ní gbogbo Miami. Ọlọ́ba dúró tiẹ̀. Mo kí bàbá wa Professor Akitoye. So let's come back as you're joining. Mo kí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa. Also, most of you don't know that we have what they call the Mix LR. It's more like a radio, but it's not a radio because I don't have a license for a radio station yet. So Bubentobade and Mix LR is like an audio version where you can listen to me at a cheaper rate without spending too much on your internet data. Especially our time program too long, which is like 3 hours program, sometimes it's 4 hours. Moki baba mi Opeyemi Adisa. Moki Bubomo Yoruba káàkiri pé let us continue to remember Professor Akitoye wherever we are all the time. The great man. Moki won lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Yoruba nation, what is it all about? And why are we concerned? Moki Ajani Akim. Moki gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Libya. Ẹkú ṣẹ́ takuntakun, ẹkú pé kó má bàa sú wa, kò dẹ̀ ní rẹ̀ wá. We must not give up. and we must never be tired. Kò dẹ̀ ní rẹwà, gbogbo ẹni tó bá ní ó máa rẹwà irọ́ ló pa. And we are ready to continue our campaign until our country comes, and until after the country comes, we will still continue to campaign for good government, so that ká má gbé Yorùbá nation wá kó má tún lọ dàbí Nàìjíríà, kò ní rí bẹ́ẹ̀ láṣẹ Èdùmàrè, inshallah. Today is the last Sunday, as you all know. Olatoni Ages, Mokinyi, John Danny, good evening. Bankole Razak, Tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ ni mo fi ń kí gbogbo yín, and all those quiet, silent listeners. They don't like to comment, but they are always with us on the platform. Mr. Johnny, Shalaiki Filatimodilale. Each time I want to come out, I'm thinking of what should I put on. I always have to reflect the Yoruba. Ilé tí mo wọ̀ nísìn, Ifá ló kọ sí lára. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọlúàbí. Most of you remember them. Go on their website and you can purchase all these beautiful, things that will be. Kíyàn kan wá sọ ilé nísìn pé wọ́n ṣe business. This is something that I always disagree with. Gbogbo wa ní right to use Yoruba for business. About in the country, there will be policies that will guide every single one of us. So this is a business, and I love to promote it because I am also one of their ambassador. Since the Mini Baba Yoruba, Koiki, I like the cap. Oda bit àwọn àfáàbí. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Assalamu alaikum. You know I'm a Muslim, but no more biabia, no more biabia. Correct Muslim. We know say people where they suffer, you must talk about them. Not be the fanatics one. So we don't fight Islam, we don't fight Christianity, and we don't fight our tradition. Alafia Demowa, Mr. Oladayo Olufade. Thank you so much, everyone. So if you have never heard about Omoluabi Apparel, they have a website, and I love to promote as long as we can confirm that your genuinity for Yoruba nation is real. Not that we at Imakpolowo, businesses or people in Nigeria is the issue, but the problem with Nigeria is it has a lot of different things that I'm sure you all understand. But Konipemo, we will all have our businesses. Baba mi Benjamin Adekunle Mokini Germany, Mokini Canada, Mokini Tewanile. You're going through a lot. Money is very difficult to find in Nigeria. But ritual kò lè fún wa lówó. Drugs kò lè fún wa lówó. What can give us money is to have a government that respect us, that put the policies and make things work. Okikiola Okimoki, good evening. Atonda Olaogun, Baba mi senior evangelist John, Moki sister mi Olajire. I spoke to her just now. I accused her of not seeing her during the rally, but she apologized. But she says she's behind the scene praying every day for Yoruba people. Moki Mr. Samuel, all the way in America. Mobayin Kedun Babawa tó jáde láyé lẹ́ni, Jimmy Carter, one of the strong American 39th president. He only served one term. He died at 100 years old. Many people might not live up to that age, but we pray that Bugwalama witness the end of this project of Yoruba nation. And do not let anybody bring your spirits down. Do not let anybody talk to you and say, Kole Bossi, Wakon Paroni. We will get there because the Northerners are speaking out. Actually, Senior Evangelist John. We appreciate every single one of us, including myself and every single body, that the year has wind down. Lóòótọ́ àjáde fún rally lọ́dún yìí. Many of you cried, Koiki kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣé kò ń ṣe pé gbogbo yín ti gbàbọ̀dè? Ọlọ́run jẹ́ káwa gbàbọ̀dè. Ṣé ṣe rí ẹ fẹ́ yẹ kí Tinubu parí second term ẹ̀ àbí first term ẹ̀ lẹ̀ ṣe announce rally? Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gan? These were all the cry of Yoruba people, throughout the 2024. But as we know, grandma kan send message sí mi ní alẹ́ láti Èkó. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin màmá wa tí ẹ̀ ń fi owó tó yẹ kẹ́ máa fi jẹun, tẹ́ fi ń ra data, tẹ́ fi ń gbọ́ Koiki. Màmá wa kan wá láti Nigeria, and I had the privilege to speak to her through Yawa Grace Olushoto. Wọ́n ní Koiki mo máa ń bú ẹ dáadáa ní Nigeria, but presently this is my first trip coming to the UK. She's about 70 plus. So we appreciate all our mothers. Láti Dumota dé Surulere, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin road transport workers, mo kí gbogbo àwọn ẹlẹ́ja association, mo kí brother mi Dele Farotimi. I haven't watched the video clip, but I saw him crying. He also said that Nigeria has not happened to him. So I pray that everybody will come together in 2025 and demand for one thing, that the Yoruba independence is the solution. The Igbo independence, the Arewa and the Middle Belt, we must not mix them together. The Fulanis are different from the Hausas. The Benue axis is also a different section of Nigeria. They are not Igbos. Every indigenous people can have their own independent country. Russia divided to 15 countries, 15 republics in the 90s. Nigeria does not have to break into 3 countries. It can break up to 10 countries. And each of those countries will then be allied with other neighbors. Mokiyami Titilola Shaw. When Yoruba land is free, the black race will be free too. That's a very powerful one. I saw people flying for Dirty December to Ghana and Lagos. But the numbers is still very low because of the many obstacles. We talked about the South Koreans this morning. Etebati will broadcast Roy. And remember, we are still asking for fundraising. Koiki ẹkú iṣẹ́, no. Owó ni òun la fi ń ṣiṣẹ́. Lóòótọ́, we love when you give us this ẹkú iṣẹ́. Ọlọ́run á wà pẹ̀lú yín. We love all that, but we also need your money to operate, not for me to eat, to operate as a business. Without the money, we can't do much. Money is the backbone of running a proper media outlet. We don't need to build a studio. I don't need a studio. This is my studio in my kitchen, my living room, my bedroom. I have to tell my wife to reduce her own TV set so that you can listen to me, because orin tó ń gbọ́ yẹn tó bá filter is a copyright. Those are the inconveniences. I was actually playing with my little boys and my children, and I had to tell them I'm going to do my program. They understand. How many of your children understand the reason why you are watching us? Grandma, what are you watching? Let them know that you are fighting for them, so that they can know that their life will be better, secure in the Yoruba land and not a contraction. Don't be Nigeria. So these are the inconveniences that we have gone through in the last 4 years. But I'm happy. Not every family will be able to contain it. But at the end of the day, we have wives that understand us. We have children that understand us. And we have a family. Because, emantically, I have in-laws. They were concerned at the beginning, but they're no longer concerned now because they understand that it is what it is. My wife, friends, my friends all over the world, some of them have left me. But one thing is, my name would also be remembered for a very long time. And that is more than enough. But right now, we need your money. We are begging. We need money to be able to do whatever we need to do. Mr. Koiki, I've dropped you a voice message on your WhatsApp. I will check it out later. Eshigoni, Mr. Shako. So let's start the program. Dizzy Masokwe, thank you, Mamawa, Mrs. Olubushola Akitoye. I think I should have her image with me. Let me see. But I have to print it out. In your mail, Nigeria, Tony printer. The basic things of life, you don't have it. It shouldn't be like that. You should have printer as a Yoruba sons and daughters, Tabatigba Yoruba nation. Your air condition must be working until you switch it off. You can't live in a Yoruba land, Tabatigba country, no electricity. Look, this is the water. running, omi gbóná ni, omi tútù ni. The basic things of life, the food, whatever you want, you should have it without asking for too much. We are not going to be convinced with the Northerners, but we must continue to remind the APC that are the followers of Tinubu. We are already determined. But the reason why we're going to talk about them is not because we are going to accept them to believe in the breakup of Nigeria. Whether they believe in Nigeria breakup or not, that is their cup of tea. Kò ṣe problem tiwa. Our own quest is to go further and further and further until we exit Nigeria peacefully. So whether the Northerners are saying that Yoruba will not be a president, we don't need to be a president of Nigeria. Tinubu will be the last president by the gods of Yoruba land. That for sure. But it needs the collective effort of Gbogbo Omo Yoruba to move together in 2025, going further down until our demands are met. If our demands are not met, we're going nowhere. I'm sure you can see the situation as it's happening, unfolding in our eyes in Mozambique. We hope that the situation will not get to that stage when we are also demanding our quest, because we are a non-violent campaigners. But one thing is, if you want peace, you give us the peace. If you don't give us the peace, you might end up seeing anarchy. That happens around the world. There's nothing I can say to that. And this is just for those Yoruba leaders. Don't suffer, you cannot do nothing. We don't want to do nothing because we don't have the power to do anything, but the power to speak to the people cannot be reduced. That is why we will be out continuously, every day. But I can tell you that next year, prepare the first quarter of next month of next year, our rally date will be announced ahead of time, and we are all coming out across the Yoruba land for a peaceful rally. The message that was delivered after she died by the Professor Akintoye is that Mama requested that whatever it takes, Baba gbọ́dọ̀ kó wa kúrò nínú Nigeria. Many people are now asking that, kí lẹ ní pé kó kó yín kúrò nínú Nigeria, níbo ló ń kó yín lọ? That is always confusing to a lot of Yoruba people. Omo wa confused. This man said the A1 unlocks the doors in marketing and advertising in the creative industries pioneered by the Yoruba Nation 01. Please support good journalism by Koikimedia team on this journey to self-determination. Shaku says some Yoruba politicians might be using those speaking up from the north just for us to believe Northerners are not happy with Yoruba Tinubu. If they are not happy with Tinubu, it's not our problem. That is Tinubu's problem and his campaign team. But our own is that Omo Yoruba gbọ́dọ̀ ní understanding that the North are not ready for Tinubu. El-Rufai has become a motivational speaker. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ papa lórí Twitter. I've read some of his analysis. The same El-Rufai that promised that no Christian will be governor. And while he was speaking that, he said it in Hausa. Ẹ̀yin Christian tẹ́ ń gbé ní Kaduna, ẹ ní jẹ́ governor. Bówù yín kẹ́ gbàdúrà sí Jésù, ẹ ní jẹ́ governor. That is what El-Rufai, the short man devil, was saying. So fún ọmọ Yoruba, whether the North says that Yoruba will not be the president anymore, we don't even want Nigeria anymore. That is our own demand. They can keep Nigeria. They can take all the branding of Nigeria, like the Air Nigeria. Eranti had the hierarchy that Nigeria is going to have the airplane that will take us from Europe back to Nigeria. The criminal Northerners, the Fulanis, because Hausa is different. We must continue to say it as it is. But But Fulani is Fulani, Hausa is different, and we hope that the Hausa will speak up more and demand to chase away the Fulanis that came from wherever they came from in the Sahel and started becoming powerful within Nigeria, supported and backed by the British. Many of you don't know what is happening around the world. But for those that are journalists, we watch other commentators, let me put it that way. Clement, how was your Christmas, my brother? Extension to your family. And I always say, may the gods of the Biafra continue to guide the Biafra. They're going through a very difficult test of time. A lot is happening within their country that has been announced and a declaration, but I don't want to go into all those issues because they're going through a lot right now. And I pray it's not a Fulani that has spread their voodoo that is creating all this. But I'm sure that as soon as Simon Ekpa is back, things can get back quickly and can be resolved. But right now, the Northerners are crying and they're preparing to kill Tinubu to make sure that Tinubu doesn't get to the power again in 2027. That is not our problem. That is the problem between Tinubu and the North. Monty Tinubu sọ fún wọn, we didn't know what they were bargaining. Because all these politicians, they bargain and put every one of us in mess. But our own demand is that the Yorubas do not want to have anything to do with Nigeria moving forward. We want to have an independent Yoruba country where we can do things in accordance to our own. Happy Sunday and a very good evening all the way down to you in Woolwich and the southeast part of England. Egbomi Triple DRS. He was with me during the Igbowo dinner and the rally that held in October. He attended the dinner and he also attended the rally. Fantastic to see many of you for the very first time. We are not ghosts. Where do we go from here? What is our demand? What is our quest? Our quest is that the Nigeria that we know that is going to be 100 and whatever years in the next few days is a crime scene and should never have been put together. Moki Babawa Timoni I release audio. I have not released the video yet. He has sent me the pictures of some of the things he confirmed with me on his visitation to the Queen's Palace in Buckingham Palace before the Queen died. Our Baba, Dr. Stephen Okpadokun. I had the privilege to meet him. He talked about a lot of things and we have not finished talking. I hope I have enough time to get more information of him. One thing is that they want us to be tired of telling you the truth. Ẹ má bínú pé à ń sọ èdè Ìgbò àti èdè Yorùbá. Wọ́n fẹ́ máa tàn wá pé let us project Nigeria, especially when somebody like David Lammy, who is David Lammy to tell us that we will keep Nigeria to 2075. Tóun náà máa wà láyé kó tó gbà yẹn. That Nigeria will be the global market. Yami Shade Luto, she was also part of the dinner and the rally. Arole Oduduwa, Otojo Meta, Ari Christmas gifts. Okay, Sintosi, Olabami Shoyinde Pada. So when we are asking for Yoruba nation, we are not enemies to the other tribes or the indigenous people, the ethnic people, like the Igbos, the Hausas. But we don't want to have any relationship with the Fulanis. They are deadly, they are criminals, and they are land grabbers. And they will do everything to take your land. Compliment of the season, Yawa brother me, Olugbani Muslim Mart. Mr. Koiki, compliment of the season to you. May Allah continue to guide and strengthen you. Inshallah. When a Muslim is praying, say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen. It might be like a delay. A lot of things have played out. Ashake TV show wọ́n ní ká máa kí bàbá wa Dr. Stephen Ọládòkun. He has sent me some pictures tonight just to buttress that he met with Queen Elizabeth before she died. And they talked about the 1914 amalgamation. Mukiyawa Margaret Ibijoke. The 1914 amalgamation was never meant to happen. But Lugard, one of the businessmen working on behalf of British Empire, because the British government is just like another, working on behalf of the majesty. So when you look at the prime minister kò láṣẹ kankan. All the power still belongs to King Charles. God bless the king. Gbogbo agbára ó wà lọ́wọ́ King Charles. But Keir Starmer, our prime minister that lost his brother to cancer on the Boxing Day, age 60, yeah. The prime minister brother died of cancer in the United Kingdom on Boxing Day. That is why it is called international platform. So some of you that always say you bring bad news. Yes, bad news must be reported. It's part of the news. And bad news travel faster than good news. Because the good news that we're talking about, many of you don't agree with it. But if I agree with any, we will have left Nigeria long time ago. Dizzy man went further to say the 10 most lawful countries in Africa in 2024 do not include Nigeria, the lawless country. The 10 most lawful countries in Africa in 2024 do not even include Nigeria, according to Business Insider. This new information is an indictment of the system struggling to conform with the rule of law. You gotta live in a country where there's rule of law. If anything is happening right now, I call the police. They have to attend, regardless of whether you have document, you are a legal country, or you have the right to live here. They must first come and save you. Hello, police, fire, ambulance. You tell them which one you need. They have a target of time to arrive on your doorstep. If you are in Nigeria right now, call the ambulance to come and save you from even the slightest accident. Waris, foreign English and pidgin English is what put Nigeria artificial wahala together. As one of the fishiest Nigeria for criminal would not have existed on piece of paper. Tó bá jẹ́ pé gbogbo akọ̀ ń sọ èdè ara wa nínú ìlú tó kó wa sí. How do we operate? But the English was smart. Lugard was smart. What they did was force English on them and let them fight on Twitter after 114 years. And that's exactly what we are doing. Igbos fight Yoruba. Yoruba fight Hausa. Hausa fight Igbo. Vice versa. We are fighting each other. Tó bá jẹ́ pé èdè la fi ń bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ for the last 110 years, nothing would have worked in Nigeria. No government would be operating because as the government is speaking Yoruba, another person is speaking Igbo, another person is speaking Hausa, and many other languages. But they knew that the only way to make you sure that they can control you, and I have something to back that from my sister broadcast. You know that my wife waited for India, Paliki. I heard that the last part of France is leaving Chad. The new generation will do everything to encourage their people to exit. Well, like I always say, the situation with the Biafra, I still just say let's continue to pray for peace. I understand the feelings of many Biafrans. We have gone through similar situation, but yours need more prayer now, so that Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu can come out and take charge of the government in exile. But as far as I'm concerned, some people disagree with me after we brought in the interview with Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. I had people that came back to my timeline and called me and said, Koiki, don't bring her again, because she's not the one in charge. All I can see there now is that something has gone wrong. Could then ṣojú lásán. So the Biafrans needs to go back on the drawing table and pray to the gods of the Biafra land to put things back in order. Because when things are going smooth, because the expectation of many Yoruba people is that after your convention, we want to start seeing a lot of action. But as we see now, it's more of fighting. One baron there's a conflict between two sections of the Biafra right now. But I am not here to talk about that. But I am only praying that things work as it is. But I will still remain standing that after I was in Nigeria in 2021, I have said it multiple times and I'll still remain on it until Nnamdi Kanu come back and talk to us, myself and Igboho, that Simon Ekpa, we should not have any dealings with it. Simon Ekpa remain the man that we are communicating with, and as I know, Simon Ekpa left the government to somebody who is the person, and that is the COS. The same COS people are calling now a government agent. You can imagine. But for me, since I believe in Simon Ekpa, and I know Simon Ekpa was working with the COS that I knew because I was following her timeline. She was traveling to Asian country representing Biafra. She did the declaration. So how come she's no longer the person that we should communicate with? That for me, I don't understand. It might not go well with some of you that are Biafrans, but as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze is still the one in charge. Until Simon Ekpa comes out again and tell me that Koiki, that has changed. Ayama Yoruba, Rekpe ti lọ láàrin Biafra gan after their convention. But it's because that we don't want to kind of get involved. These are internal issues, but my prayer is that things will be resolved. But sometimes these things don't get resolved until the man behind the scene is out again, and that is Simon Ekpa. So we got to pray for him and pray for Nnamdi Kanu. And I hope that Tinubu knows what he's doing with Nnamdi Kanu, because Tinubu is using Nnamdi Kanu as a bait between himself and the North. That's what Tinubu is doing right now. Nnamdi Kanu ofintayo. Nnamdi Kanu ofintayo. Mo kí bàbá mi Saliu Lasisi. And I don't think that is right. So Tinubu, please, I beg you, I know you're currently in Lagos. I know my messages is getting to you directly or indirectly. Release Nnamdi Kanu before it is too late. Because the North will kick you out. They are planning. Igbo will never be the president. No matter how and what they do. No matter how and what they do, the North will not allow Igbo to be president. Not even a Yoruba. But it seems that Yoruba must understand now that the North is now telling you that you will never be a president. So let's start with that. Mokie Sadiq, Badamos Ismaila, Mr. Sunday Silver, Mr. Koiki, come and give me the bread behind you. How you can't see the bread? How this man, your eyes. I don't want to advertise anybody because they don't pay me. How you can't see the bread from my house? You see how people are looking at my house? This man is just enjoying. Using Yoruba Nation money to enjoy. Yes, Eshigoni, Triple DRS say, Tinubu is using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that was kidnapped, rendition, as a bargaining chip, and that could be dangerous for him. It's a very dangerous line. Oh yes, we focus on Yoruba Nation, but when we are fighting together, the cherry problem when some of you are saying, look, Koiki, forget about the Biafra. They are fighting the same cause, but we are not their spokesperson. They have a lot of their media that are working around the clock. And I've just watched many of their programs because I am a journalist. But it's okay, leave Biafra alone. It's more or less like telling me to leave Scotland people alone. I pray that Scotland leaves UK as quickly as possible. It will be better for you. Because your visa will be directed to the Scotland government, no longer the UK. Because the government of the, let me explain to you. If you want to come to the UK, your visa is controlled by one body system. The one that takes you to Wales and Scotland. But till Wales, Badaduro, as a country, that breaks straight away. You can then apply directly to Wales to go and live there and work there, and the same thing applies to Scotland. So if you are saying that leave Biafra alone, you might as well say that don't talk about Scottish people that wants to go. And these are meant to be our most allied, because these are the people that wants to go out of the country. The UK and Scotland, England and Wales have been together since 17th century, and they are pushing. So the ones of my way, Biafra. I don't think I understand better that we need to talk about them, because they are still our closest allied. We are fighting the same cause. We are on the same track, but we are not going to run the same government. I don't know what is happening in their government. I am not part of their cabinet member, but as a journalist, I must continue to reference that things are going the other way around, that some of us are not feeling comfortable. But we must talk about them and we pray for them. And it's vice versa. This is different from the Igbos that is abusing Yoruba and the Yoruba that is abusing the Igbo. These are different conversation entirely. If Igbo abuse us and abuse Professor Wole Soyinka, people will abuse the other one that is remind me, Chris Santos, Achibe. So all those are just the little attack. Igbo they do drug, Yoruba they do ritual. Those were our number. But when we are talking about government that wants to leave, because we are going to be a government, and we're not going to be hostile. So are you expecting that when we have a Yoruba nation, we will not have relationship with Biafra government in the future? Is that what you are preparing? Even Donald Trump met Kim Jong-un. Did I pronounce his name very well? That one we did North Korea, we get nuclear weapon. 3 times Donald Trump met him, the first ever president. So even your enemies, you get them close to you, because you don't know what your enemy can do. Yes, what is, you know, this way, the rocket boy. Donald Trump met with him 3 times. Nobody. They shake hand. They went through that, you know, that little line. Donald Trump crossed it. He crossed it. So Biafra. Biafra can be our enemies. Does not mean that we shouldn't engage them. Oh, you don't trust them. They don't trust us as well. Nobody trusts each other in this world. You fight for your own. You defend your own. So that is on that. So going further in the program, Mokibabawa Oluomo Adedeji, one in regard to the lovely, humble Savior. And he's a Savior. Igbo is a Savior. Fulani would have massacred the whole of Yoruba land with their sophisticated weapon, their network, their money, their drones, as being told by the late Dr. Malafia, and by being told by our brother Egmonwa, Comrade Kunle OLAYOMI. Remember, it was the one that told us that every Friday they just open the military barracks. Dogs, everybody will just go there and pray, including terrorists. Because the terrorists are the dogs. They open the military barracks. You don't tell us how we operate the discussion of Biafra on this platform. So you can't say 40-60. The major part of this platform is Yoruba Nation. So telling me, we'll talk about Biafra 40% and you are BIF follow platform for the last 4 years. The purpose of this platform is for Yoruba people. But it's not just for Yoruba alone, because it's an international platform. So I hope, you know, you don't... Sherry, I understand the bitterness that we have for each other. But right now, we got to put that on the side and work towards the actualization. Because the more they are pushing, and we are pushing, the better for us. But if you are saying that, oh, they are pushing, we are not pushing, it's not good for every one of us. So that is how it is. Moki Bubuile Konsipe Ekabosori Koniwa. It's coming out to exactly 8 minutes past 2300 hours, which is the 24 hours clock. It's your first time of joining us. All you need to do is just click the share button, love and like. Mukiawa Kende Ogun Tunde Muki Jagaban _universe. I'm sure that one is not Tinubu's account because I don't trust Tinubu. He might be in his bedroom watching me with Remi Tinubu right now. The Jagaban. Let's listen to this quickly.
This is a direct message to people from Southwest. They have been calling us Northerners all sort of filing names, that we are parasites, that we are useless, that they are going to teach us a lesson 2027, that even if Tinubu excelled to become the next president of Nigeria, that they are going to bring somebody from South, not the North. Maybe they have baby mentality. They don't know the North. They don't know our history. One state in northern Nigeria is equivalent to the whole of Southwest.
All right. Let me pause it there. My job now is to debunk the lies. You see what he's saying right now? What this guy is saying is exactly what the British produce. The criminal Britain that I live in. The criminal Britain. That is what they produce with the fake censor. That is why these bomb bastards, like I always call them, the parasite, is now using in the 21st century. All this mess started in 1950 when Britain was telling everybody that the North has the numbers. Because what? Warigi censor. Àwọn olórí burúkú. Tó bá ń ṣe yẹn ni olóṣèlú will come out and be telling us that one state in the north that is empty desert is bigger than the numbers where there is water. Let's break, because they will suffer the consequence. They know that. How can a place that is like a desert where there is no water compared to the southwest that there is water passing in large quantity? I hope you understand. I am not here to talk about his own talk. You want to do something here, let me know. You sure? You all right? I hope you are getting the message. Again, 10 most lawful countries in Africa in 2024 rule out that zoo. Some people are not comfortable. Stop calling Nigeria the zoo. Some people even say zoo is better because they're well fed, they have veterinary, they have food, they have night out. But you know there is a state in Ogun State. I was telling my wife, 21 years, you know, they bet. I saw it on Twitter. The king or the ballet was talking that go on the Punch Twitter account. You will watch it there because this phone doesn't have Twitter. I need to upgrade this phone in the new year because I can't get access because it's not powerful enough. And my children are using the other two phones. They're on holiday, so I don't know whether they have slept or they're still awake. So when this Oloshi that is talking, and the last of Nigeria is a zoo, don't change that name. Koiki, leave it as it is. We love it that way. Location 419, location confusion, location death trap, location weaponized darkness. How can a desert be bigger than a place that has a sea? According to my colleagues there, Chris Santos. So this guy is saying now that Yoruba people shut up, Igbo people shut up, Middle Belt shut up. One state in our land will overshadow every part of your own state collectively. That is the British lie. Location drink killer. Give me all the names that we should reflect Nigeria to. Location no rule of law. Location steal money and EFCC call you, give them some and you go away like Yaya Bello. Location death trap. Animal kingdom. How can a desert, the British, as we were preparing for the election in 1960, the British knew the game ahead. They knew that all they need to do is figure out with the censor. And that is why if you go and listen to What's that man's name now? The one that gave us that that exposition. Location muje, location confusion, location lawless country. Baba mi Olufade sọ pé, please inform our big brother Igboho Oòṣà that Ilaro almost become complete Fulani town. Let him come for our rescue. Ilaro is in Kajola local government. Somebody is telling us that one local government in Yoruba land is gone. It's now become a Fulani territory. Dapo Abiodun is our governor. Dapo Abiodun, governor. Kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe sí pé Fulani gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́? And our people have been living as a refugee. Ìyá mi Ọmọlára Ògúndáre sọ pé location dream killer. You have a dream, it will kill it. Let's focus back on the discussion. According to this northern Fulani man, because this one of your Hausa, these are Fulanis, he's now telling us that, look, shut up Koiki. How many people were there for Southwest in Yoruba land? How many people there for Southeast? Now we get the numbers. That is what they cooked for them in preparing for today. Who cooked it? Britain. And that is why I'm trying to remember the name of the guy now. A man play video. That Oyinbo man. His name is he was the one that told us Nigeria 1959 election was rigged. Yes, I found his video. I found him here. Let's play it here. And I might play it from this side. I think it's coming right now. The rigging of the first general election in 1959 by the British in favor of the northern Nigeria is a disastrous. What's his name now? This is coming on Facebook. Well, let me share this on my Facebook. Arrow Smith. Arrow Smith. Okay, one not Ilaro. The man said Ilero. She mo pronounce it like that. I-L-E-R-O. One not Ilaro. But that is in what local government near? Is that in Ogun State? State one here, confirming state here. Arrow Smith, Eshegoni Yami Omolara Ogundare. Maybe we should listen. It's a long video. We might not be able to play the whole lot. Arrow Smith. Moki Baba mi Kunle Shita. Arrow Smith gave us the exposition that Nigeria make una listen on. Okay. Kajola. Ilero is in Kajola local government area near Okeho in Oyo State, not Ilaro in Ogun State. Eshegoni. Ṣé rántí pé Ṣẹ́gun Adébáyọ̀, no, bàbá mi Prophet Ṣẹ́gun Ṣẹ́gun Adébáyọ̀. Bàbá yẹn wọ́n ní ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní òkè Ògùn yẹn, ibẹ̀ gangan ní Yorùbá nation máa ti jáde. Ká lọ tọ́jú ara wa dáadáa níbẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá jẹ́ ọ̀dọ́kùnrin ẹ pé àwọn baálẹ̀ kẹjọ máa ṣe vigilante. This is not the time to sleep. We know that you need a lot of resources that the government should provide for you, but unfortunately, we don't have a government. Now, I saw a torchlight. Teba Tombai is about 117 pounds. Before light, lorry, bah, everywhere. Okada at a brand new, weapon that is usable and approved by the state government. But this government are not ready. That Abiodun is right there congratulating Tinubu for coming to Lagos. When Oyo State is in danger, where Seyi Makinde? Kolonko Shanoa. Arrow Smith. I found the video. Arrow Smith made it known that Britain knew what they were doing, and that is him there, Arrow Smith. Let's listen carefully to Arrow Smith as he was telling us about the lie. Somebody said location snake opened the safe. Pronunciation in the Montreal láti ṣe ni Ilero. Ṣé mo pronounce it that ẹ má bínú. I hope the people will listen to the message. Let's listen to this. Happy Hume, thank you so much. Mo kí gbogbo ẹlẹ́kan sọ, but at least ibi tó ń sọ ni pé ó wà ní Kajola local government. Wọ́n ní gbogbo bẹ̀yẹ Fúlàní ti gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Let's listen to
Arrow Smith, whom he met while they were both at
You okay?
Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria where they had.
What are you going to eat? There might be no.
2 children. Mr. Arrow Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4 titled Document, and that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson. You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
Yeah.
How long were you in Nigeria?
At the beginning,
You were featured.
Let's listen again.
Right and principal Oxford University graduate who was recruited by the colonial office and posted to Nigeria. He took his final examination a year ahead of his class.
Very brilliant man.
Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while they were both at Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria where they had their 2 children. Mr. Carol Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4 titled Document.
The Document.
And that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson. You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
The British rigged the first election in 1959. How did they rig the election? Now censor. So when you now hear people like this Fulani man coming to tell us that, oh, they have the numbers. You don't have the numbers. Any numbers. We're not here to talk about whether, they give Tinubu hard time, they give Tinubu tough time, they say Nigeria will never have a Yoruba president again. That is not what we are saying. We are here to remind the Yorubas and the Igbos and the rest of Nigerians that your first ever election was rigged by Britain in 1959 to favor the Northerners. So when you are now talking about Tinubu rigged the election, Tinubu no be the first person wey go rig election. Now Britain rigged the first election. The numbers. So Britain knew that the only way you can rig election is to tickle around and change the censor figure. And that is why TTDNA, up to today, you will never get an accurate censor in Nigeria. Because if you get the accurate censor, all those crime against the people from the southwest, where Kano is having more local government than Lagos, is a crime scene. So all these played out when the colonial were running Nigeria as an enterprise, a business enterprise. Because the whole purpose of Nigeria was a business enterprise set up to make sure that they suck the coal from Enugu, the other resources across all paths that they can take. They were not ready for development. Come on, go to development. Just put the rail from where the resources are all the way straight down into the ship and then move it out of Nigeria. That is what they were doing for a very long time until they realized that that one is not going to work anymore. Okay, they say they want independence. Who are those shouting for independence? There's Emma Bineta on Instagram. We're gonna come back. Azikiwe, Tafa Balewa, Awolowo. They now say, this Awolowo, he is an intelligent man. If we give Awolowo the chance, he might one day come and conquer Britain. So what we're gonna do first is let's knock them out by giving the North the numbers. So when they made the election, Awolowo started asking, we came to do campaign here now. Where are the people? There's no people because the desert. That part of the world was a complete desert. And you can now hear these, can you to log me out? I haven't got time for that tonight again. I'm trying to log in and out. I don't know why we're having this issue on this phone. So eventually, we now realize that it was Britain that created this crime scene that we are witnessing today. So when somebody's telling you, oh, we are bigger, we have the numbers, tell them, where did they get the numbers? The numbers was cooked. The number was a lie. The number was a fraud. And we will continue to debunk their lies. Now, the West realize that, how we go conquer these people again? It seems that they are becoming smart. They are more educated. They are getting closer to us. They are seeing small exposition, not a lot, because the amount of exposition that Britain is still holding, and France and many other countries around the world like that have done damage in Africa. If we get our hands on those files, some of us, we go to do all kind of madness for their country. Now, Happy Umar said, but now they have opened their boundaries to allow their people to come into Nigeria. All we want is Yoruba Nation, United States of Biafra. We continue to work with you. They opened the borders. So let's go back to this man telling us that, shut up, we have the numbers. No, you don't have the numbers. It was a lie. Let's go back again to him again.
This is a direct message to people from the Southwest. They have been calling us Northerns all sort of filing names, that we are parasites, that we are useless, that they are going to teach us a lesson 2027, that even if Tinubu excelled to become the next president of Nigeria, that they are going to bring somebody from South, not the North. Maybe they have baby mentality. They don't know the North. They don't know our history. One state in northern Nigeria is equivalent to the whole of Southwest.
It's a lie.
My lecturer once...
No, forget about that. Your lecturer is a lie. Let's go back again and listen to this.
Hello. And Mrs. Carol Smith, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
May I say how delighted we are to be on Passion. We've looked forward to speaking to an African television station for decades. This is something we have looked forward to for such a long time, and we're so happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Aaron Smith was a young, bright, and principled Oxford University graduate.
Hey, sorry, the volume is down.
Who was recruited by the Colonial Office and posted to Nigeria.
It's late. It's coming to midnight.
Final examination a year ahead of his class. He also married Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while...
Did you hear the ambulance or the police going?
Together they went to Nigeria, where they had their 2 children. Mr. Aaron Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4 titled Document, and that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson. You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
Yeah.
How long were you in Nigeria for?
From 1955 to 1960.
So,
And we were based in
1955, this man was in Nigeria. He knew what they were producing was not the authentic, was not the legitimate, was not the genuine. And let's go further a little bit.
I was on the staff of the Department of Labour.
It was...
I was largely occupied with employment problems, all the employment exchanges, and statistics, and international reports, and was kept pretty busy. I was also stationed in Lagos in charge of the capital and the port. I was the port labour officer as well, and I also devised a port labour scheme, and later a social security scheme, which was one of the first in Africa, which guaranteed workers some income after they'd finished work. It was a provident scheme, as I say, it's called the National Provident Scheme, and I was very proud to have put that on the statute book.
I was going to ask you what your role is. You've mentioned 3 important. Is there any particular name given to your office while you were there?
Just labor officer.
I was a labour officer. a senior civil servant.
Okay.
I only intended to stay in Lagos initially for 2 tours of
I won't
duty.
bore you with this. At least we've got a grasp, an understanding, because this program is not going to be long. But the most important thing I want us to go back to now is how power is changing quickly within Africa. And let me take you to Chad, where there's another issue. And Debaranti, I talked about Tinubu putting us in danger. And if we do not speak up now, that danger might fall on his head and not on ours. Let's listen to how Chad eventually told France, bye-bye, leave us alone, let us manage ourselves, we do not need you anymore. But during this video that I'm about to play now, Macron is talking about in a working relationship from another angle. Is he talking about Nigeria? To use Nigeria as their launch pad to attack Niger. Let's watch this and learn something tonight.
It's the last week of 2024. There's barely any time left for the new year, yet somehow France managed to squeeze in another loss. Right at the end of 2024, France just lost a military base in the Central African nation of Chad. It's quite the way to end a miserable year for the country. Let's show you some scenes from Chad yesterday. French military vehicles and aircraft lining up for one last photo before driving off into the desert. The vehicles were stationed at the...
Do you know that France has been operating in Chad for the last 80 years? You will hear it here, but make sure I say it in my own wording. 8 decades. 8, because when you get to that section, and come about 8 decades. 8 decades means that they've been there, stationed there for the last 80 years. Moke Sonki. Let's listen once again. You're watching a live transmission, and like I said, those of us on the Koikimedia, get used to the WD76, where transmission will come in more on a live from the new year.
The Fire-Largeau military base. France built this base in the 1940s. It has been central to the African strategy for 8 decades.
France built that base as far back as 1940. They never born some of us. Nigeria never even get independent. But it has already been Nigeria because criminal Britain has converted it to their own business empire. While Britain was dealing with Nigeria and Ghana, France was dealing with Chad, Mali, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, because that is how they use knife. Make I not show knife now, make my YouTube and everything go pa 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 pa. I was gonna bring out a knife. They use knife to split Africa. Mokiyawa Yalo de KK. Some of you remember the 1884 Berlin Conference. That is how France got their share of Africa. They have military base since 1940. One generation come wake up say, hey, all the one way we played before, not be that time anymore. In any war, fẹ́ kí Yorùbá náà lè ṣe. Mo kí bàbá mi Ọlámídé àlè o. Because one more pé tí Yorùbá náà bá ti dá dúró, we can have relationship with France. Òjíṣẹ́ TV. Mo máa rí sister mi lálẹ́, àdúrà mi ti gbà ẹ bá ń ṣe hallelujah. But wá wọlé lásán, wọ́n wọlé pẹ̀lú super chat. It's the first time I'm saying she might be watching me because I know that. Some of you might not know her. Let me quickly show you a page. These are warriors. Emma Binupe, I face slightly move to show you Ojishe TV. So because some of us need to know, some of our warriors. Because I'm only a warrior, Jagun media ni won. This is a page, Ojishe TV. You might not have seen her before. and you must not have heard about her. And I believe, let's see if we can bring. This was, oh, she hasn't even released my video, the one I say there's a rally coming. This woman, you know, it go better for you. Let me not play that one, so I will not be biased that the one where I talk say rally. Let's talk about one of our video. Let me just bring one out. Lobaton, I want Beniti Fariga. I want to show her face. She's a very popular one.
Before
Let's
it
let
was
the
on
advert go.
business.
And then we go back to
Before
France quickly.
was chaotic. Now it's
So that is Ojisha TV. If you don't know her, go and follow her. Sister see this one now. They are Yoruba na 100%. Yoruba dada. Moki mom si mi na ka bo sori eto. So te ba ti gbo Ojisha e ma gbo won ìjìnlẹ̀ conk Yoruba. So let's just listen for a few seconds and we go back to France. For me to say that kind of Yoruba, I will go back home, go learn more. Aku koko shishin. Àwọn Yoruba dáadáa. So that is Ojisha.
Ṣẹ́rí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ kí n tó sọ̀rọ̀ mi. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ sọ báyìí pé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n sọ mọ́ nù ní Ìbàdàn ní o.
So you've seen her. Please let us continue to follow her, and she's a warrior, a true son and daughter of Yoruba, true warrior. So let's go back. This program will not last 2 hours. To back with 2 hours, there only, so that I just need to get this out of the way, because tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another day, and the year is winding down quickly. So let's go back to France.
African strategy for 8.
I will allow the video to go smooth now without interruption. But 2 things I want us to take note. These are Europeans taking our land, deciding on our behalf, even though we are told that we are independent. We're not independent. If those countries that they have managed have been able to manage their resources, the Yoruba doesn't have to be around the world struggling. We will stay in Yoruba land, and we will travel just like the British citizens have traveled all over the world for holidays, and they will return back home. But we left Nigeria to hustle. I am blushing, She got a sister me. I love you so much, Each time I sit back and I watch your analysis, and she also spiritually gifted. She has sent and delivered a lot of messages spiritually. But our politicians, they're not going to listen for spiritual. They're going to look for human beings to conquer that spiritual. They forget to say, God, when they look, everybody will react one day. The reaction is what is playing out in Nigeria today. Nigeria will break. When is what we don't know. How soon is what we don't know. But Nigeria will break. And we are coming out at the first quarter. The announcement will come out officially, but I am just giving you the sneak view that a rally will be announced the first quarter, in the first 3 months of 2025. God's willing. But let's come back to Macron. Macron is crying. He's losing his government. He's losing all his empire. Some of you might say, but Koiki, Britain is not our problem. They've given us independence. Is that we couldn't manage ourselves. We have bad leaders. Home is tough. That is why we have to go also outside. How can somebody go to Libya and able to build bungalow in Nigeria? Libya doesn't have a government after Gaddafi was toppled out. But people, they go Libya and they make money and they send the money back home and they are able to build one bungalow with about 3 bedrooms. But many people within Nigeria, they can't do the same thing. So because of the time constraint, let's go back and listen to the crumbling of the Europeans. But in Kokowambe, Macron, I am working again, Moki Ashake TV show, and all the silent listeners, whether you are media, because I know some of them are there, they're quiet, they're not going to comment, and many of people like that. Let's go back and listen to Macron.
African strategy for 8 decades. But yesterday, France handed over the base to Chad. There were about 30 French soldiers at this base. They were the ones driving off. They're headed about 780 kilometers south to Chad's capital, N'Djamena, where they will board a flight back home. Soldiers from other bases will follow soon. There are about 100 in eastern Chad.
Yes, I think somebody says, please, Koiki, make sure that Professor Akintoye and Igboho are not part of the rally in 2025. Let them be busy with the administrative work in Benin Republic if you don't want Yoruba Nation to die naturally. The reason the zoo country will arrest them. Look, when we say rally, when we started the rally, Igboho was not attending the rally. Baba Akintoye was not attending the rally. It was we that were attending the rallies. And I'm sure nobody will say, as we are saying that there's going to be rally, Igboho ya ma bo, ma gbori bo. No. Come on. Our demands is not conflicted to the government of Nigeria. Nigeria is still a country until it finally collapses. And they must respect, abide by international law so that Tinubu does not end up his life being behind the bar by the International Criminal Court, even at his old age. Because what do I mean by that? Buhari is still there. It's just that those cases doesn't go as quickly as we want. So what do I mean by that? If a policeman shoots somebody and kills somebody, that means that Tinubu has killed a Yoruba person, but indirectly a Nigerian according to the international law. So we will come out, we will inform the authority that we are coming out is our right. They might not like it, but our right will be exhausted. And we don't need Igboho to lead that rally, and we don't need Baba Akintoye. We need the coordinators of each state, and we will go in accordance with that. So that is what we are talking about. So, but thank you so much, sir, for that particular message. Muki Pastor Mo. Yakub, big head scientist, say, your opinion about the African Union is similar to the European Union. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà lọ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ìyàwó mi ti India sọ nípa France as they've lost their military base in Chad after 80 years. We are already 1 hour 22 minutes. This program ends at exactly 38 minutes from now.
At a base in the city of Abéché. They will be the next to leave. After that, French troops stationed at N'Djamena will also depart. France had about 1,000 troops in this country, but last month Chad tore up the defense pact and gave the French 6 weeks to vacate. Chad is the latest African nation to give France the boot after Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. Now, the three West African nations kick.
Chad is going Belukotawan, Niger, at Mali. The federal government of Tinubu denied that they didn't collect any money from France for French to use Nigeria as a military base. Who do you believe? Do we believe President Bola Tinubu's government? Dakobowo, Ebafis in the comment section. Or do we believe the Niger military dictator that says that Tinubu, you collected money to make us ungovernable by destroying the pipeline, which was destroyed, I believe, about exactly 2 weeks ago now. So the situation can turn ugly quickly if care is not taken. And that is why we are putting it on record that the international community, Mukiba Yami Ashake TV show, and Happy New Year in advance to every single one of us. It was a privilege that my mom met with Ujishe as at the time that they went to celebrate Igboho's birthday that was organized in Germany. Also, Super Chat is coming from my mom. The reason why we are not going to be streaming on Koikimedia is because in 131 if that 131 tabatos from the new year, maybe somebody might say, yeah, only $2. And also, it will also help us with the advertisement that will bring a bit of revenue. And I don't think it's wrong for me to say that that is the reason why we are moving. We are moving you from this path to here, not that alone. We are also going to be making revenue because this Koikimedia is not giving us any revenue. There's no amount of people watching me there. It doesn't give me any revenue. We have 50,000 subscribers. That one has about 5,000, but it's giving us a bit of revenue, and we need to build it up. So gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń go wà lórí Koikimedia from the 1st of January when I go live, you will not watch me on Koikimedia. Tá bá ṣe tán, I will upload the video that we've done. It will go in there, but it will not be live. So ó wà important because owó ni kókó. Ó dẹ̀ wà ká ṣe àwọn tó wá gan that, and I'm not talking about people that are with Yoruba Nation. I've seen a lot of different platforms. They have less than 1,000, 2,000 followers, and they're making money. So, Triple DRS of Koiki, what has Tinubu said that is true? So, how did we get to where we cannot trust our government? We have to trust the foreign country government. And this is where this analysis is coming that France lost their Chad, Mali, and Niger. Chad is the one that they are losing right now as the military base after 80 years is winding down. Let's go back to the last part of the video.
The nation to give France the boot after Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. The three West African nations kicked French troops out over the last 2 years. Military coups took place in all these three countries. The new military juntas decided to sever ties with France and join hands with
Somebody's asking why can't I create a GoFundMe? I did. We asked for money. Nobody put money in there. And I understand people. I think those that are contributing, without thinking about it are doing it. But there are some of our people that, Koiki sick, people will donate. I know my shame, but I don't want that kind of money. We want the money while we are needing it now. But it's understandable that since that was bound to follow to get let's say, and we're not a charity organization here, which I could have done if I wanted to do it before Yoruba Nation. I had the privilege. I went to Nigeria in 2015. I could have set up similar charity and say, and from there we will make our own little and we'll be connected. But what we are doing right now, we're happy with it. So the GoFundMe did not work. We did open a GoFundMe, it never worked. But we're asking those that are 200 of our strong members to support. Every donation you come through with YouTube, I think they take about 40, if not 45% out of it. So the rate is good, but it's also good when we get the money through the YouTube. And don't run away. Let's run the program together tonight. We have just 32 minutes. I can assure us that Kodiju 32 minutes alone. And I'm very empower Europeans. I'm not the European. We work with time because I know some of you wants to go to bed, and it's also late here. And I want to also make sure that the noise drops down. But we have 32 minutes. Let's enjoy. Muki Baba mi Jimo Aremu. If you never follow, share, and you're like, you know what, Kilon Shenibibai, just think about it. We do not hate President Tinubu. We have said it so many times. I am not Tinubu's spokesman, but Tinubu needs to be very worried for the future of the Yoruba people. Tinubu was worried that the way he has returned back to Lagos for holiday, after the completion of his tenure, he will return back like Buhari. Buhari is sitting in Castina now. Then what happened? We are now hearing that the people, these idiots, are now telling Tinubu that look, this will be the final person that will be a Yoruba president. When we get the power, power never goes back to the southwest, and as we say all the time, nobody wants the Igbo to be the president. Let's just listen to the post because
he said, never ever in your life trust a Yoruba man. He said, if a Yoruba man shake your hand, he mean maybe or no. While in your heart he mean yes, while in his heart he mean no. He said, if a Yoruba man nod his head, he mean no. They are hypocrite in nature. Okay. He said, never ever trust a Yoruba man.
Let me put a bit of analysis there. Fine. Don't trust Yoruba man. We are hypocrite. Okay. Because we don't trust each other. And when there's a trust issue somewhere, people will be worried. And are concerned. Let us go and work together with our Yoruba people. And we know that we are hypocrite of each other. We don't love each other. But we are having this issue of this one entity that is creating friction. The North says that we are hypocrite. The Igbo say they can't trust us because of issues that have happened in the past. Then kólókàlùkù máa lọ ń lo ẹ̀. And this is why we are still calling on President Tinubu. He has what it takes. It's not about regional government. He has what it takes to do the needful. Some say he will not do it. Koiki, don't trust Tinubu. If you put your trust on him, you have failed every part of the project that you have carried. I have not put my trust on Tinubu because I have said it categorically. I am still one of the only media that said it, that I cannot trust Tinubu on Yoruba Nation. And I still stand on that. Tinubu will not give us Yoruba Nation. If you are one of those that are praying that Kolon ko yi okun pada, I do not want to say Ọlọ́run ò lè yí ọkàn yàn padà, but kò ń ṣe ọkàn Tinubu. Gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ. Quote me as Koikimedia. We don't hate him, but he is not going to give us the Yoruba Nation. Ó ní agídí gan, and he is very desperate. And I'll just leave it like that. And I'm talking about people that knows him while he was on exile in the United Kingdom, living in Milton Keynes. Àwọn tọ́jọ́ sákúrò Nigeria. I was with my uncle 2 months ago in his office. For 1 hour we spoke. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ mọ̀ nípa Tinubu ó sọ fún mi. They were eating together in the same pot, just like you saw Dele Momodu with him in UK, because Dele Momodu ran out of Nigeria as well because his life was a threat. But right now, Dele Momodu said to me, through one of my contacts, that I'm doing very well, that I'm even going because people are hailing me, and we have to challenge Bob D. That Bob D, you know me very well. You know me before Yoruba Nation, and you know where I stand before Yoruba Nation. So kò ń ṣe Yoruba Nation ló jẹ́ kí n popular. Yoruba Nation just helped because Yoruba people love what we are doing. Tí bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan mi Yoruba, àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ kó àtòbó wà, tọ́dẹ̀ ní traffic wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ Yoruba Nation. Ẹlòmíì sọ̀rọ̀ oríṣiríṣi, ẹlòmíì sọ̀rọ̀ Mohbad, ẹlòmíì sọ̀rọ̀ this. But we are focused on the whole issue. And Bob D said, yes, I'm doing the right thing, but he has done his fact when he was fighting for June 12. Káwa náà lọ sort it out. And this is where we have issues with some of those individuals. But we leave that. Where there is no trust, there can never be love and harmony, according to Amor Gate Consult. Ibi tí kò bá ti sí trust, kò lè sí ìfẹ́, kò lè sí àlàáfíà. Ìyẹn ni kò ṣe sí àlàáfíà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwa dẹ̀ sọ pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá yàwá la ní. It's our land, and we must maintain it. We must cherish it. We must pray for it. And that is why Prophet Ṣẹ́gun Adébáyọ̀ sọ pé, I will not pray for Nigeria anymore. I will pray for Yoruba Nation. We expect all other pastors to do the same thing. Why are they not doing it? We leave that to them. Let's go back and listen part of the French one before we start winding down very soon.
Decided to sever ties with France and join hands with Russia instead. Russian mercenaries replaced French soldiers in other Sahel states. Moscow is in talks with N'Djamena as well. But for now, Chad says it will handle its military affairs alone. It says it is reclaiming its sovereignty.
This is what we are asking for. A fẹ́ reclaim, a fẹ́ gba sovereignty wa padà. And let me put as much of Yoruba to the last part of the broadcast. The message has been clear with the two videos. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní Koiki. Kí lẹ̀ ń jà fún gangan náà? No, wá ṣàlàyé fún wa. Kí ni nǹkan tẹ́ ń torí ẹ̀ jà? Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. I love to record when I'm also about to, put this kind of message out, because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wá ní Koiki àgbọ̀yé dáadáa, ní data. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń ṣe àwọn audio táwọn rí bí. Tọ́dí ẹ̀ tẹ́ bá rí audio mi, ẹ̀ convert ẹ̀ bá wa pín káàkiri. Eléyìí tá a tún sọ nísìnyí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń bí wá pé Koiki kí ni ẹ̀ ń jà fún gangan? Kí ni nǹkan tẹ́ ń jà fún? In tá ń jà fún, ó wà straightforward. Kò ní àní-àní nínú. Ilẹ̀ tá wà lórí ẹ̀ tó ń pè ní Kwara State, Kogi State, Ondo State, Ekiti State, Ọ̀yọ́ State, Lagos State, Ogun State, ṣé mo mí state kankan? Ọ̀ṣun State. Ṣé rí ilẹ̀ yẹn ibẹ̀ ló ń pè ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Yorùbá land. Ó dàbí England, ilẹ̀ L-A-N-D. Ìtọ́ bá pè ní land, ilẹ̀. Ilẹ̀ yẹn tí ẹ wà lórí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà nílé, àwa tá wà níta, tá bá wálé, orílẹ̀ yẹn náà la máa ń tẹ̀dó sí, orílẹ̀ yẹn náà la kọ́lé sí, orílẹ̀ yẹn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun, ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi, ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara, ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì, ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, ìpínlẹ̀ Ogun State. Tí a bá wá ní a fẹ́ padà sí orí ìpínlẹ̀ wa, orílẹ̀ wa, à ń kó lọ kúrò níbẹ̀. Tó tá bá ní a fẹ́ gba country wa, ẹlòmíì máa ń béèrè pé tá bá wá gbà níbo là ń lọ, orílẹ̀ yẹn náà la máa wà. Àmọ́ ìjọba tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn ó máa dáwọ́ dúró. Gbogbo tí a bá wá ní nínú Nàìjíríà, a máa ìjókòó pé kí ló ń bẹ tí ó wà ní tọ̀dọ̀ tí wọn lọ́hùn, táwa náà nínú ẹ̀ á pín, ó ní bó ṣe máa pín. Gbogbo nǹkan tí ó jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ tiwa á gbà. Gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ sójà, tó jẹ́ ọlọ́pàá, tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní ìlú míì, ní stéètì míì, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ padà sílé kó wá wà lábẹ́ ìjọba tí wọ́n ń pè ní ìjọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, tá à ń pè ní ìjọba tiwa, tó ń ṣe ti gọ́fúmẹ́ǹtì Nàìjíríà mọ́. Gbogbo ilé owó tó ń pè ní bank, wọn ò ní lo Nàìjíríà mọ́. Orúkọ tá a bá fẹ́ jẹ́, Yorùbá Kingdom ní, Odùduwà Republic ní, Yorùbá dis ní, ìyẹn ló máa lò. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yìí tẹ́ wà nílé, tẹ́ wá ń sọ pé ok, ṣé tá bá gba ilẹ̀ yẹn, tá bá gba ilẹ̀ yẹn, tá dá dúró tán, àwọn wo ló máa ṣèjọba? Ṣé kò ń ṣàwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣèjọba lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ló máa ṣèjọba? Kò ní rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Màá dẹ̀ ṣàlàyé fún wa. Bó ṣe máa rí ni pé ìjọba tó fẹ́ dé, tí gbogbo wa ń sọ pé ó ń bọ̀ tá fẹ́ jọ ṣe yìí, ìjọba yẹn ó máa build a new system of government. O kò lè pa gìrì kó sọ pé o fẹ́ jẹ alága, o fẹ́ jẹ gómìnà. A gbọ́dọ̀ lọ wo kí ni rẹ́kọ̀dì ìlú yìí. A máa ń pè ní DBS, criminal record, oríṣiríṣi fact, then constitution tá a bá gbé síta, òun làwọn èèyàn máa fi yàn ẹ́. Kò ń ṣe owó la máa fi máa dìbò lọ́jọ́ yẹn mọ́. Kò ń ṣe owó, ẹ gbé owó fáwọn èèyàn, ẹ gbé sínú búrẹ́dì, ẹ gbé owó, ẹ fi àkàrà sáàrin méjì, gbogbo èèyàn lè ṣiṣẹ́. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé la ṣe sọ fẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà nílé pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ nísìn òun ni pé a máa dá dúró láti ṣèjọba ara wa. Àárín wá sí lábẹ́ pé tàbá wa ti ń ṣèjọba o, ọmọ Ìgbò a wá fẹ́ sọ pé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá òun lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti di president. Àyàfi ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń farabalẹ̀ kí sáré báyìí, torí pé ẹlòmíì nísìn ó rò pé ṣé tí Ìgbò bá wá gbé pẹ̀lú wa tó bá ti fẹ́ Yorùbá, ó máa kọ́kọ́ nationalize. Tó bá wá nationalize, a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lábẹ́ òfin bóyá ó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti ṣe gómìnà àbí kò lẹ́tọ̀ọ́. Torí pé ní gbogbo bí tá a bá wà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn láwa tá à ń gbé níbí báyìí, Elon Musk kò lè di president America o, torí wọ́n bí sí America bá ṣe gbọ́ o. Pẹ̀lú owó tó ní kò lè di president America. So òfin ló máa pílọ́tì ìlú. Then Nàìjíríà tẹ̀ ń pọ́nlé, tẹ̀ ní kájọ wà nínú ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ó ṣe wà nínú ìwé ìtàn. Kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ kọ́ ló create, Elédùmarè ò create. Èèyàn bíi tiwa aláwọ̀ funfun tó ń pè ní Lugard òun ló create. So ibi tọ́rọ̀ kù sí nísìn ni pé ìwọ tó ń endorse APC, àwọn mọ́là ti sọ fún wa nísìn pé tí Tinubu bá ṣe tán, wọn ò bí ọmọ Yorùbá kankan dá mọ́ tó máa di president. Now báwo la ṣe fẹ́ wá gbé nínú ìlú tí wọ́n ní àríndèdè president mọ́, torí àti mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò ní di president. Gbogbo ilé la ṣe ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wa pé ilé la wà, àmọ́ ilé tó padà sí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá. Báwo la ṣe máa ṣe Yorùbá? Ṣé èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì la máa sọ ni? Mò ń bi ìwọ pé ṣé ìwọ tó bá lọ sí France, ṣé English ló ń sọ níbẹ̀? Tó bá lọ sí Italy, ṣé English ló ń sọ níbẹ̀? Tó o bá tẹ̀ dé Germany rí, o ṣáà rí pé nígbà tí Indian Prime Minister wa tán pè ní Modi kò sọ èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, èdè tiwọn ló ń sọ. Tá bá ti wá dá dúró, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní ẹ̀gbọ́n òyìnbó kọ́ ni èdè wa. Èdè táwọn òyìnbó gbélé wa lọ́wọ́ kí gbogbo wa lè fi lè bára wa sọ̀rọ̀, ìyẹn ló ṣe kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ kọ́ English, wa lọ kọ́ ABCD. Kò jẹ́ ká kọ́ ABC, ABD ló yẹ ká kọ́. Ká wá fi máa ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ká máa fi ṣe àlàyé ká máa fi ṣe gbogbo pronunciation. So yẹn ló ṣe kọ́kọ́ kó wa jọ pé ká lọ máa sọ English, wọ́n wá sọ Yorùbá di vernacular mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Tá bá ti gba Yorùbá nation, English máa wà lábẹ́ fún translation ni, Yorùbá ló máa jẹ́ ló wà lókè ní gbogbo ibi tó bá jẹ́ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kò ní sí èdè tá máa sọ ju èdè Yorùbá lọ. Èdè Yorùbá ló máa jẹ́ èdè tá máa fi bára wa ṣe. Ìlú tèmi gbé níbí báyìí nísìnyí, tí bá lọ sí post office láàárọ̀ ọ̀la, tí bá sọ Italy sí wọn, Italian, ṣe lọ́mọ máa wò mí pé ṣé mo mọ ibi tí mo wà ṣá. English ló ń sọ níbí báyìí. Tí bá wá tó wá lọ sí Italy, tí mo tó wá sọ English sí wọn, ṣe lọ́mọ máa wò mí pé ó dà pé mo ti mọ ibi tí mo wà. Èdè wa ni a máa fi ṣe èdè àkókò. Àbí ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ní ẹ̀yà mi Òjíṣẹ́ TV àti Àṣàkẹ́, àwọn gbọ́ èdè dáadáa, àwa ṣe ń gbìyànjú ni. So gbogbo eléyìí la ṣe ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé eléyìí ò wá mú ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ wá, kò mú ìbínú wá láàrin ara wa, àlàyé ni. So wá rí gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́pàá tó ní tá bá wá gba Yorùbá nation ṣe máa lé wa kúrò lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ni. No, continuity ni. Kódà Syria tó ṣẹ̀ wá nínú ibi tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ gba ìjọba lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí, gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́pàá wọn tó ti bọ́ṣọ, wọ́n pè wọ́n padà, wọ́n ní kó padà wá, kó padà sẹ́nu iṣẹ́. Ẹ sì máa ṣiṣẹ́ lọ, but iṣẹ́ tẹ́ máa ṣe nísìn lábẹ́ òfin ìjọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni. Sójà tó wà ní Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀, lábẹ́ òfin ti Yorùbá lẹ́ máa ṣiṣẹ́. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa lé lọ lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. A kàn máa wá ṣe kí ni? More training. Torí a fẹ́ sójà tá máa nàyàn ní títì, a fẹ́ ọlọ́pàá tó máa bribe èèyàn tó dẹ̀ máa gba gbogbo yẹn. A jẹ́ tí ìjọba máa tètè ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí. 20 ọdún la need tá máa fi build ìjọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. So ìyá tó ń tẹran, bàbá tó ń ta igi ní ìsọpákó, tí ẹ̀ ń sọ pé Kóìkì, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn kò yé wa náà ni. Bó ti ṣe ṣàlàyé fún wa nísìn, a máa darapọ̀ mọ́ yín. Mo wá ń bẹ gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ ní mọ́tò. Èmi ò láì kí n máa pè é lọ́mọ ní mọ́tò, torí pé àwọn tó ń wà wá nílùú òyìnbó àti ń pè wọ́n lọ́mọ ní mọ́tò. Iṣẹ́ tó ní àlùbáríkà lórí ni. Ẹ wá jẹ́ kí a jẹ́ kó yé yín pé lótìtọ́ àwọn gómìnà tì ní wọ́n ń dẹ́rù bà yín pé kẹ́ má darapọ̀ mọ́ bàbá Akíntóyè àti Ìgbòho. Àmọ́ àwọn sọ fún yín pé ọ̀nà àbáyọ kan tó kù ni pé kíran Yorùbá kó dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. Iléeṣẹ́ ìlú ń pè ní Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. So as I wind down the broadcast, màá fi the part that is left láti fi dúpẹ́ fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí a jọ wà lórí ìkànnì náà lálẹ́ yìí. Inspiration la máa fi ń jáde. Mo fẹ́ lè sọ pé mo jáde mọ́ lẹ́nìí, but nígbà míì èmi kan ní ká jáde ká tó sọ̀rọ̀, torí ìta bá sọ ó lè jẹ́ yẹn gan lẹ́lòmíì máa gbọ́ ló máa fi sọ pé ó yá intention bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ohun àwa náà. Gbogbo pé Yorùbá máa lọ, ó máa lọ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ìwọ tó ń doubt tó ní kò ní lọ, àwọn ò ní ṣépè, but jẹ́ kó yé ẹ pé kò sí ẹnìkan tó lè dá iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run dúró. Ṣùgbọ́n ambulance ló lọ yẹn, bóyá ambulance ni bí ọlọ́pàá ni, wọ́n lọ rescue àwọn èèyàn. The word for us is now to endorse and support Yorùbá nation. Elédùmarè kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Èmi náà ni àbúrò yín, ọmọ yín, ẹ̀gbọ́n yín, olólùfẹ́ yín. Ìyàwó mi a máa ní ọkọ ìyá àwọn Oòduà. Mo ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, èmi lọ́kọ gbogbo wọn pátápátá. Adélẹ̀ lérí. Ó ń ṣọmọ lókù, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àní sí pẹ̀lú ìyá rẹ̀. Ẹ wá jẹ́ ká túbọ̀ máa ṣàdúrà fún bàbá wa Alànà dáadáa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká túbọ̀ ṣàdúrà fún bàbá wa Alànà dáadáa. Ká sọ fún bàbá wa pé kó jọ̀ọ́ kó túbọ̀ mara dáadáa, kó mara le. Ara bàbá le dáadáa ni o. Kò sí nǹkan tó ṣe bàbá Akíntóyè rárá, bí gbogbo àti ṣe gbọ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ti lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ bàbá Akíntóyè. Tí mo kàn jẹ́ kó yé wa ni pé kò ní sú wa, kò ní rẹ̀ wá, a máa délẹ̀ lérí. Àmọ́ kọ́lọ̀ ń foríjì ìyá yìí. On exile ni ìyá yìí kú sí, kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Ilé ló yẹ kí ìyá yìí kú sí. Àmọ́ torí ọmọ Yorùbá, torí ìfẹ́ Yorùbá, ó tẹ̀lé ọkọ rẹ̀, wọ́n rìnrìn àjò lọ sí Benin. wọ́n jókòó síbẹ̀ wọ́n ní tó bá fi olóyè sílẹ̀ àwọn ò ní kúrò níbẹ̀ wọ́n mà tún folóyè sílẹ̀ wọ́n tún padà kúrò níbẹ̀ wọ́n dúró síbẹ̀ títí pé káwọn lè sọ fọ́mọ Yorùbá pé ìyà ò já wọn wá kí àwọn ọmọ wọn pé kó jọ a dúpẹ́ fún yín torí àwa tá à ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí I'm sure òjíṣẹ́ Àṣàkẹ́ àwọn fámìlì wa lẹ́ǹkan ká máa pè wá pé a dúpẹ́ fọlọ́run but let's pray for the soul that has departed and let us remember Baba Akintoye all the time. Like I said, he's a very strong man. I've had the privilege to speak to him yesterday. Nígbà táwọn young can àtàwọn bishop tó lọ síbẹ̀. Gbogbo ibi tó bá kù sí, kọ́lọ́n kó guide àwọn bàbá wa. Mo wá kí gbogbo àwọn tí a jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí. Olúkálùkù wa ló ní different expertise and skills. Tèmi bá ń ṣe tèmi, ó máa yàtọ̀ sí tòjíṣẹ́, á yàtọ̀ sí táwọn tó kù. But we are still on the same track. Independent Yoruba country la fẹ́, no more no less. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wá ràn wá lọ́wọ́ kò ní tán níbẹ̀ fún yín. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ ti ràn wá lọ́wọ́, it is understandable. Bùkátà pọ̀ lọ́tún lósì, especially the pressure coming from Nigeria. And the last comment from here, Emi last, which is the difference between us and Igbo? They support each other, they don't wait till the worst happens. Okay, Kayode, so God will continue to strengthen and protect and bless you. Elewe tutu abeni Yoruba must be free and we must be free. Mo kí ẹ òjíṣẹ́ mo sì mi ní kí n máa kí ẹ dáadáa pé inú àwọn dùn pa àwọn rí ẹ nígbà tí a pàdé. Èmi náà fẹ́ dé Germany ó kù díẹ̀ ẹ̀rí mi ní Germany láìpẹ́ yìí. Èmi náà wá yọjú sí ní ọdún tó ń bọ̀. Ẹ̀sìn kò ní mú jà wá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Usman Wahab gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń gbètò pé Igwe James mo kí ẹ Yínká Ògúndélé mo kí yín gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ mú ìjẹ̀sìn wá ànígbà yín láyè lóòótọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká àtàkì ara wa pẹ̀lẹ́ sìn ṣe ráwọn olóṣèlú inú wọn ń dùn bá ṣe ń bára wa jà kò ní dá fún oníṣẹ̀ṣe náà ní aláwọ̀ kìíní kan. It's understandable. It has gone for too long that these issues of condemn ìṣẹ̀ṣe and all that, and it seems that many people are just overreacting. I understand. Muslim lèmi o ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ lè mú mi kúrò nínú Muslim àdẹ̀jọ́madélẹ̀ lérí ni ọmọ babaláwo ni mí ọmọ èṣù gidi ni mí àjọmadélẹ̀ lérí ni mo gbà fún Jésù dáadáa wo ìyá àdúrà chọ́ọ̀chì wọn mò ń lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo máa ń ná bẹ́ẹ̀ ó tójọ́ mẹ́ta ni èmi àti gbẹ̀du àjọ ń ná bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tàbádẹ́ ṣe tán lọ ṣàdúrà kan gbámàlà síta ń jàmàlà lọ ìgbà tí Fẹlá Dúrótoyè wá mo tẹ̀lé wọn lọ sí church tó ń ṣe campaign ó dà pé KICC la lọ ń gbà yẹn Redeem mo fi dárúkọ àdúgbò bí tó wà àwọn bàbá yẹn àti ìyàwó wọn wá fún rally wọ́n dẹ̀ wá fún dinner full member Redeem ni wọ́n mo kàn fi dárúkọ bí tó wà ní England ni kẹ má lọ máa pilot ibẹ̀ gbogbo wọn pè mí lẹ́yìn pé Koiki ìtẹ̀gbé dání yẹn Yorùbá nation no going back ni bàbá Adébóyè lè má lè sọ but àwọn tó jẹ́ branches wọn ní UK àti America wọ́n ń ṣàdúrà fún wa tó wà lẹ́yìn wa wọ́n á bẹ̀ wá ẹ má yẹ kí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn mo mọ̀ pé ara ń kan gbogbo ẹ̀yẹn ẹ ṣe sọ pé ẹ ti gbà fún èṣù ọmọ èṣù ní ọmọ èṣù náà ní gbogbo àtẹ́lẹ̀ but ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn sílẹ̀ mo lẹ́ni tó yẹ pé ó wà ní umura nísìn ìjọ Friday lọ kódà airport lọ ti pè mí pé wàhálà ló pè mí pé àwọn màmá ìjọ àwọn màmá tó mọ́ sí ẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ pè mí lórí fídíò call àwọn yáà dẹ̀ ní Yorùbá nation to the core ní pẹ̀lú bí wọ́n ṣe lọ sí umura wọn ní lẹ́bọ̀. I understand that there's a lot of issues that is happening but mo bẹ̀ wá mo rọ̀ wá we will be glad to have and host you sir ìgbàkigbà tẹ́ bá ti ready ìyá mi kò sígbà tẹ́ pè mí sórí program tá à ní wá ẹ̀kọ́ I'm sure you have my number it's available kẹ́ pè mí kẹ́ jẹ́ ká sọ́gbà tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ká wá bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ètò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn yẹn gangan Muslim lèmi o ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ lè lé mi kúrò nílẹ̀ Yorùbá o àlèlé Muslim kúrò nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹ̀ bá sọ pé aláwò kìíní kan gbogbo slang ẹni mò ń gbọ́ I understand but àwa sọ àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn fanatics tó ti ń converted to something tí kò ṣe tiwa Christians ẹ ṣe sùúrù ẹ̀yin oníṣẹ̀ṣe ṣe sùúrù I have lived in the UK for 25 years mo gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn Buddhist atheist Muslim Christians and we have lived very well and we are friends. Kódà àwọn Hindu yẹn wọ́n máa ń wọ kíní báńgù kan sọ́wọ́ kọ̀múlọ́rẹ̀ kan tó jẹ́ Hindu báńgù yẹn tó bá làmọ́yàn lórí wọ́n tún wá ní ṣẹ́rítọ̀ báńk táwọn máa ń dé yẹn ìlú yìí accept pé wọ́n máa ń fi bí abẹ́ ọ̀bẹ àbí kankan bó máa wà nínú tọ̀bán tán wé yẹn nǹkan wà nínú ẹ̀ o. That is part of their culture. But UK mọ̀ pé tọ́lọ́pàá bá dá dúró nísìn kò kọ̀ lè sáré sọ pé ìjọya bí bọ́tọ̀ bá nẹ̀ wọ́n ti wà wẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ti sọ fún government ti mọ̀ wọ́n tábà àwọn sick yes. So táwa náà bá ti gba country tiwa Ifá temple wà ní bíbá ìyá wa yẹn ẹnu ẹni mo fi ń sọ pé màá lọ sọ́dọ̀ wọn ẹ mọ̀ pé mo drive and sometimes winter dẹ̀ ti wà nísìn bí àgbà sọ́mà máa ṣeré lọ síbẹ̀ Croydon lọ́wọ́ ó yẹ kí n ti lọ kí wọn ní Ifá temple náà so ẹ jẹ́ ká wà religious tolerant gbogbo èèyàn wa ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀ká jẹ́ priority wa nítorí ẹ kó jẹ́ priority wa and we have just 10 minutes because 2 hours náà lánàá máa ṣe ẹ má yẹ kó jẹ́ ẹ̀sìn la fi ń attack ara wa nítorí ká máa fi attack ara wa ni pé àwọn olóṣèlú tó kó bá àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ta fi ń rí stampede nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn olóṣèlú tó ta sọ fún pé wọ́n máa blow Ìbàdàn tí wọ́n ọ̀dẹ̀ gbọ́ January 16 wọ́n máa pààyàn níbẹ̀ gbogbo ilé pátápátá ló dà wọ̀ fún ọ lówó bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ọ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀n àwọn kábíyèsí wa tó pa àwọn yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀ ká focus lé lórí ká mú ìjà ẹ̀sìn yẹn ká dákun torí gbogbo ẹ̀sìn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta ló máa operate nílẹ̀ Yorùbá o ìkànnì ní ga jù kan lọ and on that note mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé Happy New Year in advance and as we are preparing for 2025 ẹ lọ gbọ́n aṣọ yín síta eléyìí sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ nígbà kan lélẹ́yìí no it's a fact that the rally will be announced officially èmi kàn fún yín ní the snake view ẹ ṣe gan bàbá mi Kọ́lá wọ́n ní the best analysis for the grassroots to understand our objective just market women will understand papa nípa èdè wa mo kí Mr. Ẹwà Olúwa wọ́n ní Mr. Koiki ẹ kú ṣe o Allah will surely crown your effort and every single one of us mo kí wàá rí jìnnà mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin màmá dáadáa tẹ́jọ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa and on that note we checking out Yorùbá nation for life no going back no going back no retreat mo máa ń like àwọn ìyá arúgbó kan nílùú yìí àwọn ìyá dáadáa àwọn ìyá máa rí pé Koiki no retreat ó tẹ̀ ní mọ̀mísí mi kan ọ̀rẹ́ mọ̀mísí mi kan alájà wọ́n á ti pè báyìí Koiki no retreat tó àwọn ìyá yìí ti ṣe Ṣàngó nígbà tó wà ní Ṣàngó Òde love you all and on that note ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ ní ká sùn bye for now. mo kí o bá wọn tèmi lórí Mixlr and the rest of you as well shout out to you all bye for now.